Fred. How's it going, man?
Everything's good, man.
Good to hear, man. Good. Tell everybody that's watching exactly, the origin of Fred Ogletree, exactly where you come from, and what sparked your interest in acting.
Okay, well, Fred Ogletree, I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, but I reside in Macon, Georgia. What kind of got me into acting is a mutual friend of ours, Troy Bland. I've known Troy for over 20 years, and
Right.
I actually went to one of the red carpet events for Summer Madness,
Right.
and it just sparked. The more I talked to him, and the more I became interested in acting. So it just
Okay.
kind of went from there, and it's been about almost about 2.5 years now.
Okay. All right. Well, with you being interested in acting, let me ask you this: what are growing up, or what? Not even growing up, but right now, what are some of your favorite television shows to watch?
Ooh, television shows. Well, honestly, Anthony, I haven't really been watching a lot of television shows, but I like to watch, a lot of, some movies, a lot of movies. This pandemic, I just been sitting around watching a lot of movies, and when you're into acting, and I know you know this from experience, you can relate to this, is you watch them just to learn. It's a learning process. I actually watched a movie called The Vanish last night, and it was a very good movie. I've seen Denzel's new movie, and that's pretty much it, man. I just watch a lot of movies. I don't watch a lot of TV shows. Well, yeah, yes, I do. I'll say The Oval. I watch The Oval. I watch Sisters. I watch Ruthless. Pretty much shows like that, man. So, yeah.
I got you. I got you. I can understand that. And those are very good shows to watch because I do watch when I get a chance. I watch The Oval and I watch Sisters. So yeah, those are always really good movies to watch. As far as the movies that you like, what genre of movie would you say is the one that you like the most?
I would say drama. Because, when you watch drama movies, those are the type of movies that you can't really walk out on, going to the bathroom, getting a snack. You got to really pay attention to those movies. So I'll say drama, man. I like those.
Okay, all right. Now, I noticed that looking at your IMDb. For those of you who don't know, go look up Fred on IMDb. He has
Mhm.
IMDb credits. I see that you worked on is it Love, Blood, and Cotton?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that is I'm familiar with a few of the people in that production. Tell me about what you did in Love, Blood, and Cotton.
Well, I was playing a coach on it. It was a documentary, How Not to, I think it was called How Not to Get Killed in Middle Georgia. And it basically was talking about the crime, just crime in Middle Georgia. And, a lot of our young black men are just being killed senseless, just involved in senseless crime. And that's what that movie pretty much deals with. It talks about choices or whatnot. And that's actually the first production that I ever got on. And I got to send a shout out to Stacy, who was the director of that. And she gave me an opportunity. Very nice young lady. I met a lot of interesting people on that set.
Okay, cool. With you being on set, were there any butterflies, or were you really nervous when you actually were performing?
Um, Well, on that particular project, it was pretty much, it was like a one liner or whatnot. So it was kind of nervous. Like I'm gonna tell you this, Anthony. Before I got into acting, I used to watch a lot of shows and be like, man, this is, criticizing it. But when I
Right.
got into it, I was like, acting is not as easy as people think it is. The first rule of acting is not to be acting, not to appear like you're acting. And I tell people when you try to memorize these sides, and you watch a lot of actors, like especially Denzel, they make it look so natural. And I always tell people when you see some of these people in movies and TV shows, and you dislike the character, that person does an excellent job of acting. So they're making you dislike a person that they're portraying. So
Absolutely. Yeah, I know what you mean. A couple of years ago, I actually was part of a movie called Fixation 2, and we had a red
okay.
carpet premiere, and I
Hmm.
played a guy who was married, but I was married to a very bossy, very aggressive woman, and the guy that I played was
Hmm.
very passive, very emasculated, and when I,
Hmm.
with me, having a background in athletics and professional wrestling and martial arts and stuff, for me, as big as I am, to be playing a guy who's literally a wimp, who's a cream puff. When we
Right.
got finished doing the movie,
Hmm.
for every you did a good job, I got two. I want to kick your ass. I got two of them. It never failed. It never failed. And to this day, people still talk about that. So trust me, I know exactly what you're talking about when you can get somebody to hate you when you play a part like that. Now,
Right.
with you having had played the part that you played in Love, Blood, and Cotton, what would you say would be a dream role for you in a movie?
Um, a dream role would, I guess, would be playing a character more like myself. I'm pretty much a laid back guy. Pretty much get along with everybody. Um, I think we all got a crazy side to us. I think I got one of those too. But like I said, that goes
Absolutely.
back to the drama. You know,
Hmm.
I like to play a role where I could be one of those guys that go from maybe zero to 100 in like a minute or so. I think
Yeah.
I'll work out on something like that.
Yeah, definitely. I can see if you want to do something like that, I would strongly suggest you do something like the crime recreation shows, like some of the ones that I've done, like Fatal Attraction and Murder
Well, I
Chose
did.
Me.
I
But
did Fatal Attraction.
oh, did you? Okay, all
Yeah,
right,
actually,
okay.
Monday made a year that it came on.
Wow,
Yeah, I
wow,
did
that's
Fatal
awesome.
Attraction and I did Snap.
Nice. I wanted to get on Snap when I did Fatal Attraction because
Hmm.
Jupiter does all those shows. They got about like 20
Right,
or 30 different crime recreation shows. Man,
right,
they had the one of the cameramen had a Snap T-shirt on, and man, I was
right,
trying to get that T-shirt off him. Man, I was like, "Look, man, I gotta have that T-shirt, man. That's a nice T-shirt. That's a real
right,
nice T-shirt. It's a real. I mean, would you be willing to trade that T-shirt, that nice T-shirt, for an even nicer T-shirt? Because I got some
right,
really nice T-shirts, but I think my nice T-shirts will look better on you than your nice T-shirt does. So you give me
right,
your nice T-shirt, I give you my nice T-shirt. We can trade. It ain't work.
right,
It didn't even work. So I
right.
was trying. I was trying. But yeah, I mean I can understand exactly where you're coming from. Have you ever played any type of sports, or are you athletically, or do you have an
Um,
athletic background?
Believe it or not, Anthony, in high school I played soccer. I played soccer and I played a little bit of baseball, but soccer, man, is, it's a sport that people don't really think is intense, but it actually is, man. Because when I played, we had a lot of football players that played in the off season, and a lot of them, they kind of forgot which game it was. But I played soccer, man. It was interesting. But for the most part, I try to go to the gym every day and try to keep myself in shape. You got to, and these, this time is going on. You got to.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, and you talked a lot about the pandemic and everything, and you watching movies and stuff like that, and you being an actor.
Hmm.
Has the pandemic itself, has it sparked a creative? I mean, somewhat of a creative spark in you to probably create some things, or like even write a script, or do you have any ideas in your head that you might want to put down?
Um, well, I've written two books, and I'm
Okay,
working on a third book right now.
okay.
But I kind of got writer's block.
Mm,
I started writing a script a while back, but being on different sets and everything, and that script writing is something else, man.
yeah,
Telling the story the way you want it told, and it's a lot of work. It's not easy. I tell anybody that that's not easy. It's not easy at all to really put your ideas on paper. That's whether you're writing a book or a script. It's just hard, man. It really is.
I can understand. You say you've written two books. What are the titles of your books?
The first book I wrote is called The Light of the Unjust. And the second book that I wrote is called The Seven Women I Once Loved.
Mm.
They're
Oh,
both available on Amazon.
okay. All right. I
Hmm.
was going to ask you that where they could find it.
Yes, sir.
The Light of the Unjust. Tell me a little bit more about that book, because I'm digging the title already.
Okay, The Light of the Unjust is basically about a young man who is dealing with his spirituality. He deals with all type of strange phenomenon. Actually, man, I wrote this book. Ooh, a while, probably back in about 2007. That's
Oh
how
wow.
it's been out a while. Just strange phenomenon. Like in the book, I talk about like certain things, like when you go somewhere, you feel like you've been this place before, and you really never been there, or
Yeah.
you're walking around and hear somebody call your name, and you turn around and nobody's there. That's the
Right.
type of stuff this young man deals with in his book, and it's
Okay.
real interesting. It's no cursing in there. For people who have vision issues, it's like 14 points, double space, so you shouldn't have a problem reading it. You know, some books, the fonts are real small and you got to use magnifying glass. I made sure that it will work for people who, have problems reading on small, certain size fonts. So, like I say, it's a really interesting book, though.
All right, that's pretty good to hear. For anybody out there who is looking to write a book, take us through the process of getting a book published beyond writing it. Once you've completed writing the book,
Hmm.
what process, what steps are the next to be taken, that to eventually lead to your book being published?
Okay, first of all, I recommend anybody writing a book. The first thing you do is don't worry about your title. Just start writing. Finish your book and go back and do your title then. Because if you're trying to base the book around the title that you come up with, it's going to kind of throw you off a little bit. And I highly recommend that you find someone who can do proofreading, because there's some companies out here that will charge you anywhere from 10 to 15 cents per error. And I advise anybody to self-publish a book. I would go through Amazon and publish my book. That's the best self-publishing going right now, because I think my first book, it was a bad deal. I'm not going to put the publishing company out there, but it was a bad deal. And I tell people, don't get locked in these bad deals, because there are deals out here where people will be paying $17, $18 for your book, and you might be getting $2 or $3 off of every book. And a lot of
Mhm.
times, if you're a new author, publishing companies will pretty much play off your enthusiasm of getting your material out there. So self-publishing is the best way. Just have your books made to order so you won't have a lot of them just sitting in your closet.
Right, right. Now, are your books available on Kindle as well, or are they just soft or hardcover?
They're available with Kindle as well. On Kindle as well. Yes.
Okay, that's good to hear because I was a contributor to two books. Life, Love, and Lockup, Volume Two, with
Mhm.
Lovett. It was a
Mhm.
collection of me and some other brothers, and we talked about things that we went through and how we came out on the other side of it. And I
Mhm.
also did some work with Chuck Brown, in
Right.
the American Nightmare, where it was another issue that talked about black men being black men in
Mhm.
America. And
Right.
it was a cool book because we got an opportunity to not just speak about ourselves, but genuinely speak for ourselves
Right.
without being interrupted or being told who we were. So we got a chance to speak our
Right.
truth, which was
Mhm.
pretty cool. Now, um, your third book, you say you got writer's block and you're working on a third book and everything.
Mhm.
Whenever you experience anything like writer's block, is there ever a chance, is there ever a time when experiencing this, like sometimes you'll experience it and it will go away instantly, or sometimes it takes a long time? Have you ever had writer's block so much to the point where it just made you completely lose interest in your project?
Yes. Let me tell you what happened. On
Hmm.
my third book, I've actually been working on this book since about 2009.
Oh
But
wow.
what happened, I had it on a flash drive, and the flash drive fell out my pocket, and I ended up stepping on the end of
Oh man.
it. So I had to start over from memory. But I
Oh man.
highly advise anybody, another thing, if you're writing a book, get you, as archaic as this may sound, get you a journal and write it in there. Jot your ideas down. And I don't want to go on before saying this. I did read your contribution to that book, man, and your
Mm.
story was remarkable, man. I've read actually all volumes of them, except the new one that's out now. I read
Right.
all of them. And I got to give a shout out to Chuck, man, because Chuck is an excellent director. He's an excellent script writer. And my first project with Chuck was Second Birthday, when I
Yeah.
worked on that with Sheila Bailey,
Mhm.
Marquis Relaford,
Yeah.
Thelma Brown. It was an excellent project.
Yeah.
And I
I got a
learned so
chance to
much
watch
from
that.
Chuck. I mean, Chuck is real patient with you. And
Mhm.
I've learned more. I've learned so much from that guy, man. And one day, Chuck is a treasure trove of knowledge, man, from the movie industry, man. And everybody, if you anybody that comes out of Baltimore knows Chuck. Everybody
Right.
knows him. You coming out of Baltimore, you know Chuck.
Right. Right. Yeah. Chuck is, man. I have worked with Chuck on several projects on that book, and as a matter of fact, my very first film where I actually had a speaking role was with
Hmm.
Chuck, and that was 55 Seconds, the short film he and I did. We
Right.
worked on that. We worked together on the movie Three. We worked
Hmm.
on For Us. So I've done a lot of work with Chuck, and I look forward
Right.
to doing more work with Chuck. And when you
Yeah.
say that Chuck is a treasure trove of knowledge, you are not lying. He is a treasure. He is a true treasure. He is somebody who definitely knows how to look at everybody as an asset, pool
Hmm.
them together as resources, and come up with a collective project that will knock your socks off. So,
Right.
shout out to Chuck. Yeah, Chuck, I got to get you on here too because I want to pick your brain, sir.
Oh
Definitely want
yeah.
to pick your brain. Got to
Yeah.
pick Chuck's brain. Now,
Oh yeah.
outside of acting and your literary works, what
Hmm.
do you do for fun?
um, I read a lot, and believe it or not, I like to play poker. I
Okay.
mean, it's a game that involves a lot of strategy thinking. It's really a game. It's almost like golf, man. It's you meet a lot of people and you talk to people. Yeah, a lot of people say, "Well, that's gambling." A lot of people just play poker for fun, and a lot of times that's what I do. I've met a lot of people doing that, so that's what I like to do. And like I say, I read. I'm always trying to better myself. And in this pandemic, man, I'm learning that you got to do other things, man. It's gonna is our way of life has changed so much, and I don't see it leaving anytime soon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, one of the things that has definitely changed as far as COVID having an effect on things has
Hmm.
to be sporting events. And
Right.
I speak about sporting events knowing that we are a few days away from the Super Bowl being played. Before I ask you anything about that, let me ask you this. The Atlanta Falcons, in order
Hmm.
for them to have a better season than they had this year, next year, what are I'd say three key moves that they need to do in order to have a better team. Well, let me ask first before I ask you that. Are you a Falcons fan?
Well, let me say this. I
Okay.
was born and raised in Atlanta.
Hmm.
I haven't been a Falcon fan since Lehman Bennett was the coach of the Falcons.
Ouch.
I mean,
Oh, God.
put it like this: the last time I was a Falcons fan, Steve
Uh,
Bartkowski was the quarterback.
enough said. So, who is your favorite team?
I don't really have one, man. I just
Okay,
kind of watch them all, man. It depends on who's
got you.
playing. But
I
I will
got you.
say this: the Falcons, they need to. It needs to be a period of rebuilding for the Falcons. I don't know if you're familiar with the Rankin Smith era of the Falcons when they didn't want to spend money to get players.
Hmm.
I mean, point blank, you need a new quarterback. You can't just keep salvaging. I mean, 11 years. It's time to move on.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree.
it's now is the time to rebuild. It's time to rebuild. You got to get fresh, new, innovative ideas in there. That's what they
Mm.
need.
Yeah, I think one of the things that really hurts the team, and for me, I'm not a Falcons fan. I'm not going to pretend that I am, but I think
Right.
that Matt Ryan hasn't done anything in my eyes to be paid the money that he's paid. He's been a Super Bowl runner up,
Hmm.
and he pretty much is the face that everybody sees when they talk about the Atlanta team that literally blew the Super Bowl.
Right.
So that kind of money, I think you would pay a winner.
Hmm.
But at the same time, the amount of money he's making, you could find a number of base players that you could use to rebuild your team and
Right.
ultimately have a better team. So
Right.
moving away from some of the things that are defining Atlanta right now, I totally agree with you on that. I
Right.
definitely do. But
And the Falcons need to stop getting players when they're on the way out. Like Todd Gurley. I mean, how much more are you going to get out of him?
not
Let's
much.
get players when they're fresh. I mean, fresh in the league. That's when we need to get them. You look at most players when they come back to Atlanta, they're pretty much done.
Yeah.
Not saying Todd Gurley is done, but that's just the way it normally works.
Right. I understand. I totally understand. I agree with you. I echo your sentiments. Trust me, I do. So when we talk about this Sunday's game, we're talking about, you know what the headline is: Tom Brady, 6-time Super Bowl champion,
Mm-hmm.
current champion Patrick Mahomes, the GOAT versus the guy that's versus the hot guy right now.
Right.
So when you look at everything that's happening, who are you picking to win the Super Bowl?
Actually, I know a lot of people are going to disagree, but I like to see Tampa Bay win the Super Bowl. I really would like to see that. First of all, they've already made history with being the first team to be in the Super Bowl and hosting the Super Bowl. Okay? And I don't see another quarterback going to the Super Bowl 10 times. I don't see that happening. And now Patrick Mahomes, if you look at the two teams, they're both matched. It's all going to come down to the experience of the quarterbacks. Now, Mahomes may have been there last year, but experience-wise, he doesn't have that. Tom Brady's on the side. He's studying the plays. He's not getting upset. You can look at his face. You can't tell if they're winning or losing.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
They just win, but I like to see them win. And if
I
he
think
does win,
if Tom Brady wins, if Tom Brady were to win the Super Bowl, I think even with 6 rings, for whatever reason, success breeds contempt in a lot of other people, especially people that have had the opportunity to have the success Tom Brady has had and haven't, because there's this whole thing about the Spygate or whatever they call it, when they were talking about them intercepting signals, and Bill Belichick was the only reason why he's won Super Bowls and everything. I think that this will, without question, affirm Tom Brady's greatness if he wins the Super Bowl, because a lot of people are still picking Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. But strangely enough, it's crazy because in some people's eyes, if Tom Brady wins, then this will be an upset.
Right. They're definitely an underdog.
Yeah.
But when have you seen a quarterback get traded to another team and take them to the Super Bowl?
I haven't seen it. Seen it. And honestly,
now you've seen players get traded in the middle of the season and possibly end up in the Super Bowl, but you have never seen a quarterback start at the beginning of the season and take his team to the Super Bowl.
Right. I thought Joe Montana was going to do it back in the day when he left the 49ers and went to the Chiefs. I thought he was going to take them, and they came it came close as far as like a divisional, a conference championship game, but they wound up losing. But they were pretty close. So Tom Brady is, even at an advanced stage, is still doing things people couldn't even bank on him doing. You couldn't have seen him doing what he's doing now a year ago, much less not being a member of the New England Patriots.
Right. So, I didn't see this coming at all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, do you watch a lot of sports?
I'm the type of person, Anthony, I like to watch it in the end. Like college basketball, like right about now, I'm not watching it. But when it gets down like the March Madness, that's when I'll start watching.
Absolutely.
It's just not, to me, it's just not really interesting in the beginning of the season. It's in the end. You'll see people that are undefeated and then they lose the key games in the end and they're sitting on the side. So in the end is what matters to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you, because I always have had a soft spot in my heart for tournaments of all kinds. So when March Madness comes and I'm looking at the brackets and seeing the upsets in the brackets and seeing who won and seeing what the potential matchups might be, that's always big for me. So I can agree with you on that. But I do have my teams, and I have some good teams and I have some really bad teams. I'm a New York Giants fan. I have
Right.
been since I can remember, and they haven't won a Super Bowl in over 10 years. But
Right.
I flaunt the fact that they have won 4 Super Bowls and 8 total NFL championships. So yeah, I'm gonna milk that for all it's worth. You can believe that. That's
Right.
definitely gonna happen.
Right.
That's definitely gonna happen. So as far as future projects go, what do you have on the agenda?
Well, I just signed with a new agent, so I'm just kind of waiting to see what's going on with that. I've been taking acting classes, and I actually, if you go, I watch YouTube Script to Screen, and that's very educational itself. Just seeing how actors how they change the sides, and I just been working on that. And I will say this: people who are getting into acting, let me just say what was told to me. A lot, like we talk about recreation shows. That's not acting experience. That's set experience, and it's best to learn. A lot of people look down on background. I've done background, and a lot of times, people talk to you any kind of way on back, but you learn.
Yep.
All you do is just go there, do your job. And my thing is, faith and favor will get you indoors you're not supposed to get in. It will be nothing for you to work on a background project and they say, hey, come here. And you say those magic 3 words, and before you know it, you're up there. It doesn't take
Mhm.
long for that. So
Yep.
it's a lot of projects out there that's coming up. Even with the pandemic, they're still shooting a lot of movies, but a lot of
Absolutely.
things have changed. As far as on sets, like I'll give you an example. You work with Jupiter, now Hive. Holding is now in your car. There's no holding on sets anymore.
Right.
Um, on sets like with background where you had, like I know for example, with Respect, Aretha Franklin movie, they had about 250 people that were background. That's no more. The most they have on background now is 20 people.
Yep. I can see that.
So,
I can
and
see
I
that.
mean, you get tested every day. That this COVID thing is serious, man. At first,
It is.
I had reservation like everybody else. I can't be real, but when people close to you start, passing away from this virus, it's serious, man. It's very serious.
Very serious.
But
Very
I'm
serious.
hoping to, one day, get, a decent role doing something. I'm just praying about it, and when it's my time, it'll be my time. So I'm just sitting
Absolutely.
back and waiting.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Where can the fans and the viewers of Thespian Works find you on social media?
Well, I have a Facebook page, Fred Ogletree. You can find me on that. I have actually 2 pages. One, I also do brand ambassador work. If you're familiar with that, a lot of people in acting do brand ambassador work, but that's pretty much stopped. The people you see in Walmart, doing a lot of promotions, that's pretty much stopped because of the pandemic. I also have a website, www.fredogletree.com. You can learn a little bit about me. Um, I graduated from Savannah State, and a lot of people actually from Millersville went to Savannah State during
Yeah,
the
my
time I
cousin
was
did.
there. Who's your cousin?
Quentin Howell.
I've heard that name before.
Quentin T. Howell. He actually ran for a state representative
Really?
this past year. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That name sounds real familiar.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
actually, hmm?
well, if you're in, if you, he actually has a show on Hot Love 103.7, the Talking Straight
Okay.
show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I don't think he's doing it anymore. I think somebody else is doing it because he turned it over when he started really focusing on his campaign. But he was
Hmm.
doing that show, and he went to Savannah State.
Yeah. That's a great school, man. Actually, you talk about acting. I don't know if you're familiar with Tone Bell.
Heard of the name?
Tone Bell is actually on that movie. What is her name? Liddy's Love. Is it Liddy's? It was on Amazon Prime. He's been on
Hmm.
a couple of he's been in a couple of movies, but he graduated from Savannah State. He's about 11 years younger than me, but he's doing a lot of big things, man. A lot of big things.
Good to hear.
And I think now with all the platforms that are out, a lot of people who are just really getting into acting, like myself and you, we have a better chance now, but you're still
Yeah,
going up against the Denzels, the Will Smith. You're still going up against them, and it's all the time. I tell people it's not who's the best at the job; it's who's the most persistent at trying to get the job.
right.
So just got to keep pushing.
That's all you can do. I totally understand it. And when you're talking about how hard it is for people to get a job, um,
Hmm.
I know it can be. I know it can definitely be tough. And the reason I'm looking at my phone right now is because you talked about, the difficulty some people have. I actually got an email. I'm not sure if it was today or yesterday,
Hmm.
but I did some background work years ago with Casting Tailor Made out of
Hmm.
Atlanta,
Hmm.
and they have a new platform that makes it easier for background actors to apply. And I just pulled up the email right here, and it's called Casted. The email says, "Say hello to Casted, a
Hmm.
platform designed to streamline background casting in one easy, secure, simple space. Create a
Hmm.
profile with your appearance, experience, and photo gallery, booking, filming details, and confirmation all in one place. Unlimited submissions to casting calls. Get discovered by legitimate casting opportunities." Now there is a fee, which is
Hold
twelve
on.
ninety
Let,
nine
let,
euro.
let me stop you, Anthony.
I
They
know it.
just put out a disclaimer about that.
Hmm.
That wasn't them.
Oh, really?
Because yes, they put out a disclaimer on that because they were saying that background opportunities, they nobody should ever charge you for that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
You are correct about that. You are that. And I was hoping you would stop me when I said
Yeah.
something about it. So that lets me
Right.
know you're on the right track, and that lets me know nobody's taking advantage of you. So
Right.
everybody out there that's an actor, if anybody ever decides to charge you
Hmm.
to audition or
Right.
charge you to be in their movie, run
Right.
as far and fast away from that production as you can, because it's
Right.
not legitimate. I guarantee
Right.
you that. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna take a closer look at this. They ain't
Oh
getting my
yeah.
money. Trust me, but
I
trust
saw
me,
read
I'm
I
kind
read
of
something on that yesterday.
uh yeah,
Hmm.
I'm gonna look a little more into that, and I'm definitely gonna address this right here on the next episode of Thespian Works. But for now, Fred
Hmm.
Ogletree, it has been a pleasure talking to you, brother. I wish
Yes,
you the
sir.
most success. And man, look, I'm in making 5 days out of the week. My
Right.
real job is in
Right.
making. So I
Right.
work in making all the time. Me, you, and Troy got to get together and chop it
We
up, man.
got
We
to.
definitely
We
do.
got to.
Absolutely need to, man. It's been a pleasure talking to you, man, and I can't wait to actually meet you in person.
Right. I thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate this, man.
Hey, no problem, man. No problem at all. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Thespian Works with Anthony Velvet Hall. Once again, thanks to my special guest, Fred Ogletree, for joining me tonight. Everybody, take care of yourselves and remember those three things I keep telling you. Life is short, death is certain, and be sure to love on the people God gives you, because one day He gonna want them back. All right?
Oh yeah.
Take care.
Oh yeah. All right, brother.
All right, be good, man.